welcome to Smoking Eagle's Rod Shop, and in today's video we're going to take this 32-inch NOS, that's right, I said NOS, never used Simplicity 70 snow thrower, and we're going to put it on my grandfather's old garden tractor slash lawnmower, whatever you guys want to call it, small frame Simplicity, and go outside and throw some snow. Check this thing out. I picked it up off a marketplace a few years ago and wanted to show you guys this, but we just didn't get any snow, and if you don't have snow, you can't do a snow thrower video. But look, the front of the auger has paint on it everywhere. The pulleys don't have any belt wear anywhere on them. It's just super, super clean. I drove a long ways to get this thing, but it was worth it. I mean, it is so clean. And he gave me a smoking deal. This is model number 990582. It's 32 inches wide. There's the pulley there. Now, it's my understanding they're designed to fit these small frame tractors for quite a few years, really. If you look up Simplicities, and I believe International Harvester owned them at that time, they had an IH model, and they all look kind of the same, and a lot of these implements all fit each other. They're just different colors. Some are white, some are red, and orange, my favorite of them all. But I've never had one of these on a tractor before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Supposedly all I need is the belt, this bracket, but I'm trying to figure out how this lever lifts and lowers, because it looks like I'm missing a bar that goes from there to here, probably right there. I don't know. I'm going to blow this thing off with the air hose, get out the grease gun, and we'll start digging into this project and see if we can't throw some snow with this thing. So let's pull this side cover off of here and see what we got underneath here. Make sure that's all lubed up good. Looks like 9/16. Got her on the first gas. Okay, there we are. It's got a nice looking chain on it. Look, there's still paint in all the teeth down here. Look at that. There's still paint on all the teeth of that gear. Yeah, this thing's brand new. It's never been used. There's just no way. We'll make sure this is greased up good. There's no grease coming out of this shaft here, so I know this isn't full yet. And there's no grease coming out back here, so I'll continue to grease this up. And we'll get some chain lube on this. I don't want to use wheel bearing grease or anything super goopy on this because I don't want it to pick up dirt and run it through there. So we're going to use something a little thinner. All right, as you can see, we got grease coming out there. I'm going to wipe off that extra. And it's coming out right down in there next to our pulley. Sorry for the flicker in there. My LED's not lining up with the old video. And then I got our chain all lubed up. And if you're wondering what I used, I have this Bardol foaming chain lube. I've been using this can for like 10 years. It just never seems to run out. This stuff works really well. It's thin, but it foams. So when you spray it, it kind of spreads itself out and gets down in all the little cracks and crevices of your chain. And then as you can see, it kind of just dissolves and thins out and lubes really, really well. This chain is good to go. And I just spun it a little bit and sprayed her on there. So get yourself some designated chain lube if you don't have any. I also got us a bolt. Well, I cleaned that bolt up and I got us a new nut and a new washer for our cover. I'm going to get that all slapped back together, and then we'll see if we can't figure out how this thing's supposed to actually hook to the mower. Okay, so here we are at the old tractor here, and I'm trying to take some hints off of this bracket to figure out how it mounts up. Now, if you look down underneath here, we've got a mounting bracket here and a mounting tabs over there for the mower deck assembly or whatever. I've never actually even had the deck on this. My grandpa just used it to pull trailers around and stuff for the last 20 years. I do have the mower deck, though. I have multiple mower decks that I could put on here because he did use this for many, many years to mow. He just hasn't for a long, long time. Now, anyway, back to what I was saying. It looks like our brackets are here, and then there's some holes up here, and it looks to me, looking at this, taking some hints here, right here you can see a little bit of a round shape, like this has been on a tractor, but maybe only like once, maybe twice. So I feel like this needs to slide up in to these brackets with cross pins, and then these arms here are going to swing up and hook in to these holes here. The problem I have is that they don't fit with this bumper. So I may have to remove the front bumper because, well, maybe it does fit. I didn't think it was gonna fit. Yeah, looks like it may fit. I'm gonna need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins to pin this all together, or bolts. I will go dig through my mower supply of parts and see if I can't scrounge up some pins and get this going. All right, guys, so I hunted around and I didn't find any pins, but I do have these bolts that'll get us by for now. We'll mock it all up and then I'll go get pins later. They have them at Rural King. Harbor Freight, I believe, has like a whole assortment kit for like $5. I was just in there the other day. Should have grabbed it, but I didn't. And they had the 30% off coupon. Just need to be able to get the nut on it so that it doesn't fall. Perfect. Slap one in over here. Okay, so that gets our bracket kind of on there. There's our belt engagement. So let's slide the old blower up here and see what we got. It's close over there. This is proving to be more difficult than it should be. There we go. Got that one. Now if I can get a bolt through it. Okay, we got a bolt through one of them. There we go. Put a nut on the back side of that. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Looks good. Now remember, I haven't adjusted anything in the front, so the front bar is sitting directly on the concrete. We're gonna space that up and adjust that here in a few minutes. Now it does have an extra adjustment here as far as this bracket goes, and I don't know exactly what that does for me. It appears like it might tilt this down a little bit, because as you can see, it's got a little bit of an angle. I'll show you here. That's kind of what it's looking like here. And if I change those bolts, I think it's gonna pull that up just a little like that. Okay, so I moved one bolt and that did tilt that forward quite a bit like this. And a quick Google search told me that when I'm adjusting the snowblower like that, with a gravel driveway like we have, that we're better off with it tilted back a little bit more, which makes sense to me because it's not gonna dig in and try and pick gravel up. And obviously I need to adjust these feet, which it also said I should do. So I'm gonna put it back the way it was. We'll try it like that and adjust our feet. And if we're happy with it, we're good. If not, we've always got this adjustment here to make her a little more aggressive. I've also determined that I only want swivel pins here. Everything else is gonna be hard bolted so that my pulleys and everything stay nice and tight. Okay, so I got those tightened up and I got us a piece of wood underneath the front of here supporting this. It's about 5/8 thick. And I'm just going to drop our bars, our height adjustment bars down and tighten them up. If it's too high, I can always come back and lower it down, but if it's too low, it's gonna be chucking frickin' rocks all over the place. And that's not really what we wanna do. So I'd much rather have it be a little high and then tweak it down than it be far too low. Perfect. Side quest initiated and action. side quest complete. Now, I will clue you in on what our little side quest was there. Yeah, never really noticed this before, but I bought a handful of these. Don't know where. Could have been a swap meet, could have been Amazon. I don't know, but I had 5 or 6 of them over there in a bin. And it has a picture of a little gas can on it, but if you pay close attention there, it also has a circle around it with a line through it. This is not a shutoff for fuel, although it's got a red shutoff on it, and they sold it to me as if it was good for fuel. The little rubber O-ring in it, whatever you want to call it, this little bushing in there, it's supposed to rotate, because I ripped this thing apart, I was mad. And it just swelled up, so no matter what you did, this thing just, it was off, didn't do nothing. So I took all of those and threw them in the trash where they belong, because I don't need shutoffs that don't work with fuel. And I banged my head around a little bit, and I thought, man, I got to get this thing going so we can get this snowblower on here, which is the whole point of this video, right? Tear the gas tank off, drain the fuel out, do all the things, right? Well, in the bottom of this gas tank, I don't know if my grandpa added this to it or not, because none of my other mowers like this that I have for parts have a shut-off petcock just like this. Let me get you in here. This little petcock shut-off was on the bottom of the tank. So I'm like, hey, I wonder if the threads on that are the same as the threads in the carburetor. They were. So what I did, I took it off, cleaned it all up, took the one off of the carburetor that was just a straight 90, put it on the bottom of the tank, put this one right here on the front of the carburetor, reinstalled my fuel line and my filter, put gas back in the tank, put the straps back on it, and I met you back here to explain the whole thing to you. Now, I did play around with my air fuel because I was like, man, is this carburetor acting jacked up? What's the problem? So I'm going to have to tune that once we get the snowblower on there and fired up. But back to the original video. I'm done with that little rant there, but hey man, got her fixed, right? There's always a side quest. Don't get frustrated, just, you know, dig in, get your hands dirty, get her done. Got this big old piece of plate. It is 1¼ inch by 48 inches and 3/16 thick, and we're gonna use that for our actuator bar. It's actually long enough to build 2 of them, but check this out here. It's essentially gonna go right behind the pedal, and it's gonna drill, we're gonna drill a little hole in it, put a little radius around the outside so it looks nice and factory, and then we'll cut the other end off, and then once we get it done, and it works properly the way we want, then we'll make a couple of these little tabs like that. We'll weld them right onto the side of it so that it actually goes around it and the pin goes all the way through and it looks professional, and then I'll toss a little coat of paint on there just to, you know, touch it up. But I've got everything we need to continue. I even went to Harbor Freight and I picked this up, a clevis pin set, so that we can put pins where the snowblower will swivel, and we can also put pins where this swivels. All right, so I figured out this is the size clevis pins that we need, and the cool thing about these is they have like a ton of holes in them, so you just stick it through, figure out where you need it to be, add a hole to it, cut the other hole in half with a hacksaw, and you can get out a power tool. It only takes a couple seconds, and then I just cleaned up the burrs a little bit, and that gives you room to put a washer on the backside and your pin. This kit even comes with the pins, so look at that, they're already done. Power of the internet. Now, let's hook this thing up. Washer. Pin. Washer. Oh man, I can't even see it. Ooh, hit it on the first try. Let's work on getting our rod set up here. I want this to be able to swivel up as far as possible. So I've got this piece of wood here. I'm gonna lift it up, set it on this piece of wood, and we'll see how close that is to all the way up. Okay, so you can see how high that is there, so you can drive around And I'd say that's as high as we want it to go. We definitely don't want to hit this, especially when this is flipped up like this, wherever it's going to be. We want to have a little bit of gap between our grill there. So what I'm going to do, when this is all the way up, this is disengaged. It has a little slot to go this way, so I'm going to leave it down like that. Then when we take our measurement, and this has the weight of the snowblower on it, it'll actually go like that, and that'll give us about that much extra space up there on the grill. So I'm going to get a tape measure from the center of that hole to the center of that hole. We need to measure to the center of this hole, and all I have is a tape measure. Well, how am I going to find the center of that hole? Now, you might say, okay, hold your tape measure kind of in the center of that hole, kind of in the center of that one, and just guess. That'll get you kind of close, but your margin of error there is ×2. So the best thing you can do is think about it like this. The front of the hole to the front of the hole is the same as the center of the hole to the center of the hole. Same goes with the back of the hole. So if you can measure from the back edge of this hole, get your tape measure to clip onto the back edge of that hole, and then you just measure to the back edge of this hole, and then that's going to give you center to center. You're going to get a lot more accurate measurement, and you're going to be a lot happier with your results. We're going to go from the back of this hole to the back of this hole, and it's 22 inches. So center to center, again, like I said, is going to be 22 inches. So we're going to drill our holes at 22 inches. I'm going to measure the diameter of this hole with my calipers so I know what size hole to put in here. Looks like we've got a 1/2 inch hole. So here we are at the drill press. Let's get the drilling some holes. I got everything marked where we want it. Boom, chicka boom, boom, and then we'll cut it off. Being long will just make it a little easier to hang on to. Perfect. Now we just need to cut this off to length. All right, here we go. Got it rounded off there. The bird looks really good. There's a bolt right here, and my grandpa put in this little drain plug extension to get it out there so you can get the oil in a drain pan instead of running all over everything. So with that being said, when I put this bar in here, it has to go on the front side of this lever and the front side of the snowblower lever down there. So our little tab that we're going to bend, put on there and weld to it to make it look like everything else. They're going to have to go on the inside because that's where the most clearance is. I have our pins here. I'm not going to cut these off until we make our little tab for the inside, but I am going to stick them in here. They're nice and snug, and put our pin in the backside and make sure this functions the way we want it to. Check that out. It's holding it up. We got plenty of clearance right here in the front for our chute to go up and down. So when we're out there driving around, I don't want it to just be able to be up, because we're going to have to put this up quite a bit, like drive down the driveway, put it up, pull out in the road, turn around, whatever you want to do. Now the real question, how easy is this thing to raise and lower? Oh, that is nice. That is very, very nice. And it sits right down where we want it to. It has room to float. So as we go over bumps and stuff, that can kind of go up and down and twist and turn with the ground conditions. Want her up, you just pull her up into the up position. Drop her back down. You can rotate our chute. Oh, I'm digging this already. I've got our piece that we're going to bend, and I've got our bracket. Now the plates on the tractor are a little bit thicker. I'm just going to make sure that we offset it a little bit more than the thickness of this, and then we should be good. And I'm just going to pull it right up against here. Almost there. Well, I'd say it's a little much for what we're doing. It's the right concept, but yeah, it went a little too far that away. So I feel like what we're gonna have to do is bend our first bend first so that we have room for our second bend. Or bend our second bend first is what I meant to say. Bend this around and screw up the other end of our piece by sticking it in. Now this bend's gonna try and undo the other bend slightly, but it'll be fine. Now I'm gonna bring this down until it's straight, and that should give us our offset. We're pretty damn close. Go just a little past, but she's gonna bounce back. Hey, we got a nice little offset in there. It's a little much, but like I said, that's fine. We'll come up here on this side. We actually just go put it in a vise, but we'll come back in this side here. We'll give her a little bit right here, and that should open that up just a little bit. Yep, it's taking that bend out. And straightening her out just ever so slightly. Pretty good. Look what we got. It's almost perfectly straight. I like it. We can put it in a vise and we can tweak that just a little bit to get what we want out of the rest of it. Okay, now we've got both of these, one on each end. I can go over and cut these babies off, and I'll meet you back over at, well, the welder. All right, as you can see, I got her all clamped up here. It's ready to weld. I'm just gonna weld on the 3 sides here, and we should be good. Then I can drill the cross hole and clean this up so that the radius matches, and this thing will be ready to rock and roll. Shouldn't take too long at all. It looks like it'll slide on there. Need to move this up to our lock position. Uh-oh. Our tab isn't long enough on this side. Look, we're hitting right down in there. I didn't think about that. So this needed to be like back in here. We're good there. That's not gonna be a hindrance because it's gonna rotate and this is gonna clear back in here. All right, so I looked at it, thought about it. And this tab is a little too wide on the top and the bottom here. And this slot needs to move down just a little bit. Really, our only option is to cut this off. Maybe the original doesn't even have this back piece on there. I don't know, because we had this on there without them and it functioned perfectly fine. The front works great. So just to get us out there throwing snow, I'm gonna take the cutoff wheel. I'm gonna cut this tab off the back side of this, clean it up just a little bit. And then if I wanna weld the tab back on it later or alter this tab or whatever I decide I wanna do to make this the final product, right? Because I need to go get a can of orange Simplicity paint to paint this in the end anyway. I can do that. There we go. Got her knocked off of there. And I know what you're thinking. You should have just tacked it together and checked to see if it worked first. Yep, you're right. Should have done that, but we didn't. All right, so let's toss our pins in here. All right, so I got our pin cut off. Got our washer on the back of there. Got our clip. And it appears to be operating in the range that we need it. Now, I'll put the front pin in. Yeah, it doesn't look like I've got enough room to put a tab on the back side of that. They must not have had one on this. It must have just looked like this. I don't know. Weird. Weird science. Perfect. Perfect. It can walk around, do what it wants. We can lift it up. Boom. Now, let's crawl down underneath here and figure out if we can figure out the belt routing and belt tension. So I'll get some wrenches, figure out that tensioner down there, and then I'll get you guys down there and we'll see if I can't route this belt. Looks like a lot of fun. All right, so I've got us an 82-inch belt here, which is what the old interweb says that we need. And I found out that if you turn the wheel all the way to the right, it moves it out of the way and makes it fit right up in here a lot better. And you're best to put it in from the back. Oh, shit. Man down, man down. I'll move you over here a little bit better. So like I said, you're best to put the belt in from the very back like this, and then you can go right up underneath here, right up through there. Then, you just grab it, pull, and it goes right down around here like that. One's gonna go, the side's gonna go up over top of this one, like that, and down around here, like this. And then it should come back up. Oh, it should come. Well, this goes up in here. Let me keep pulling this down out of here. This goes up around there. It's headed the right direction. Get it up around here. Okay, and then this goes up around here, comes back, goes up around here. Goes up around here. Ha-ha! We got a belt that actually fits. Now, I need to figure out how I'm supposed to put the tension on this. I don't know if I tension it right now, or if I put tension on it here. Because that's basically all the slack out of it. And it should be completely engaged. And it looks like it's working perfectly. So disengaged, engaged, but it's pretty loose engaged. So maybe I disengage it, bring it back a little bit, like here. That's like half. Okay, now when we engage it, hey, that feels pretty good. And we disengage it. Looks like it loosens up quite a bit. Hopefully it's, I don't know where the idler is at that point, but hey. So it's cold right now, so we gotta let it warm up a little bit, but the auger's not spinning and we got it disengaged, so that's good. I wonder if it's gonna bog down when we engage it and we actually hit snow. I wonder if it's even gonna turn when we engage it, but so far so good. Hey, it appears to work. I say we take this thing outside, see if it'll throw some snow. I'm stoked. All right, guys, now I know this has turf tires on the front and the back. And only my fat butt holding her down, but I did order some really cool 6-ply ag tires for the back and some like go-kart tires to put on the front, because I got like 5 different sets of rims for this. So I can just have winter and summer tires or whatever I want to do, mudding tires, anything. Anyway, let's see if this thing will throw us some snow. I need to take my surgical gloves off too. Very awesome, guys. I think this thing did great in the snow, especially with these crappy little turf tires. Like I said, I got some good ag tires coming, and I'll keep my eyes out for wheel weights for this thing. They're pretty universal for all these old 70s mini garden tractor mowers or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, looks cool, sounds cool, is cool, very fun. That was a great little project for this snowy weather we have in northern Indiana right now, and basically everywhere. Texas, Florida had iguanas falling out of trees. You just never know what's going to happen in this crazy world. And I enjoyed working on my mini tractor with you guys. Remember, we got a membership program here on YouTube that helps me bring you guys these videos. We got merch available on our website if you need to keep your ears warm in the winter. We've also got a Facebook group over there. You can post your mini tractor, garden tractor, lawnmower, go-kart, boat, helicopter, I don't care what it is. Show us what you got. I'm going to post some other videos around my melon here of things we're doing in the shop. Go check that stuff out. I appreciate all your guys' support. And until next time, keep on wrenching. Peace.